Hello, I will be the key speaker today. I will talking about science and technology applied to public security. This is my short biography, knowing a little bit more about the speaker, myself. I have academic degree, I have postdoctorate at King's College London, doctorate at University of Liverpool, both in United Kingdom, and master and MBA in Brazil. As academic experience, I'm professor at Farias Brito University, High Technology College, at Superior College of Magistracy in Brazil, and former honorary lecturer at University of Liverpool. Professional experience, Superintendence of Research and Strategy in Public Security in Ceará, State of Ceará, Brazil. I was former World Director at Police Forensic at Interpol, in Interpol headquarters in France, and former head of Scientific Police Unit at Brazilian Federal Police, and former police officer in criminal forensic, also in Brazil. Concluding this short biography, let's go to the main point of our talking today. How to use science in public security? This is the question. I will prove that it's possible to use science to prevent crimes and combat violence. But before, I need to talk about scientific evidence. Definition: scientific evidence is the set of elements used to support or refute a hypothesis or theory according to the scientific method. Another thing to learn is scientific evidence is repeatable by other scientists in locations other than where it was originally collected. It's very important, this concept of scientific evidence, because it's the base to use science in public security. Continue about scientific evidence. I want to talk about examples. So, scientific evidence may vary by field of study and research. For us, in public security, we use mathematics, statistics, descriptive, inferential, spatial. We use also computer science, for example, artificial intelligence, big data, software engineering, geoprocessing, is used for georeferencing images and maps, and sociology. Sometimes you need to know about profile, victim and criminal profiles. So it's interesting that the evidence, you have elements to go in a correct direction to combat the violence in any state or country. Another concept very important for us is the main point of our talk today, is the evidence-based public security. Once I talked about evidence, scientific evidence before, now I need to give this explanation about the definition. What is evidence-based public security? It consists of the use of scientific evidence and scientific methods and technologies applied in the formulation of public security policies, guidelines, models, and strategies to prevent violence and reduce crimes. So this definition is very important for us, because here you can see that you have science inside the process, inside the work done by police officers, for example. The objective of EBPS, evidence-based public security, is prevent violence, reduce crime, facilitate decision-making, effective and efficient management, and increase social legitimacy. The relevance of evidence-based public security. The first thing is innovation, because with evidence-based public security, you can have innovation with criminal indicators, static and dynamic business intelligence panels. You can use socio-economic criminal maps. You can use criminal models geospatial studies, automatized crime fighting technologies. All these things are aspects that can be used in public security, giving more innovation in the work of police officers or any operator in public security. The next slide, you have another interesting point concerning to the relevance of a BPS. Another thing is because you can do monitoring and evaluation through criminal indicators and model, hotspot analysis, I'll talk a little bit more about hotspots, and geospatial study. For example, you can have some indicators that any country can have, for example, intentional, lethal, violent crimes, including, for example, homicide, feminicide, bodily harm followed by death, and robbery followed by death. This group of intentional, lethal, violent crime can be measured, can be monitored and evaluated. So it's very important because the science can be used to this also. Another thing, you can have violent crimes against property, another kind of indicators, sexual crimes, seizures of narcotics, seizures of firearms. All of these examples are ways to monitor and evaluate the work of policies and public security organizations. Now, the relevance of BPS is applicability, obtained and interpreted according to the qualitative and quantitative scientific methods. You have also repetition by other public security agencies and police force in location other than where it was originally carried out. This is why it's replicable. And also you have possibility to implement in other city, state, or country with similar challenge. So replicability is another point of relevance in our context in public security. Sustainability. Sustainability, as other points, relevant point in BPS, concerning, it means sustainability in our context, in our security policy context. Sustainability means rational use of human, financial, and material resource for each type of crime based on the days and time of the week with the highest incidence of each criminal event. Another point concerning to sustainability is strength public security policy based on scientific studies of criminal data, avoiding subjectivism or guessing. Now you have science, no guess anymore if you use evidence-based public security. Another point concerning to sustainability is action focused on criminal spots, also called as hotspots or heat maps for each type of crime. It's very interesting because the majority of crimes is concerned in a specific area of your location, in a specific area of your space. So you can use science, data, information to produce criminal spot, hotspot. I will show this in a few minutes. So it's very interesting, this question, to use hotspots to give sustainability of your rationality, of your decisions. Equity means that we will use BPS in a consistent data collection system, ensure a constant flow of reliable information, formulation of strategies, and transparency and accountability, rise the sense of security in society. So this is why evidence-based public security promotes equity. Another point is answer the second question. The first question was, how can we use science inside the public security? I show some concepts and some fundamentals and definition. And now it's important how to use the technologies. Use the science and at the same time technology in the context of public security. So the first thing to know is that all sources of data collection are in the automatized system. For example, computer system, database, knowledge base, and big data. The data is there. The data is, you can find the data in the systems, automatized system. So you need to use this system with all data to produce more information. For example, you can use this data from this computerized, automatized system to produce, for example, criminal statistics. In criminal statistics, for example, you can produce technology concerning static panel. For example, here in this slide, you can see some criminal indicators where the user, a police officer, or a citizen using this site, as example, are using the site of our superintendence here in Brazil. For example, you can use intentional lethal violent crime as an indicator. If you click in this indicator, you can see all data concerning to this. I will show you in a few minutes what kind of information you can obtain clicking this indicator. But at this moment, I like to show you the main indicators, criminal indicators that we use here in Brazil. For example, intentional lethal violent crimes against property, theft, seizure of narcotics, sexual crimes, seizure of firearms, domestic violence. There's some indicators that you need to monitor and evaluate all the time. This is the kind of information you can obtain when you click, for example, this first example here, a person, a police officer, or a citizen that have access to our sites is possible to see, for example, the evolution of this kind of crime, for example, homicides, month by month. You can see all the year of 2021. So you can see the evaluation, the graph about this. The graph also concerned to the day of the week that we have more or less kind of this crime. And you have also here, you have the graph, a graph concerned to the day of the week. We have more incidents concerned to this crime. Here you have the evaluation of month by month. Here you have the main hours where the crimes occurs. The same sense, for example, for other crime, you can use data and technology through static panel concerning, for example, another example, I'll give you only two examples here today. For example, violent crime against properties, including robberies without death. Because if you have death, this crime will be included in the other category that I presented before. So here you have the graph concerning month by month, 2021. The day of the week we have more or less incidents of this kind of crime. Here you have the time that this incident occurs more frequently. So with this information, a decision maker can use their resource in an effective way. Another technology innovation that I'd like to show you is the dynamic panel. The previous panel was the static panel. Why it's static? Why it is static? The last panel, static panel, because you can make the downloads only with PDF or Excel sheet. But here in dynamic panel, you can see that you can customize what you want. You have the main kinds of crimes. For example, you have in our site, you have, as example, a site that I am the superintendent of strategy in public security. You have a site and where citizen and police officer can use and monitor or see how the evolution of this indicator. Here you have, for example, sexual crimes, seizure of firearms, seizure of narcotics, domestic violence, ILVC, that is intentional lethal violent crimes against property, VCP, theft, and feminicide. So if you click one of these crimes, for example, sexual crime, in this dynamic panel, you have here, you can customize the period that you want to see. Here is a BI, a Business Intelligence panel. Here you have the amount of crimes by years, by region. This is my state here in Brazil, called Ceará. You can see if you have more color, more strong, means that you have more kinds of crime. For example, this point and this point, you can see that the red color is more stronger, so you have more sexual crimes in these two regions of my state, in Brazil. Here you have the evolution year by year, year by year, and month by month, and the same graph showing in a way of lines to see this evolution of this kind of crime that I use as an example. Here, the day of the week and the time with more occurrence of this kind of crime. So you can only select the type of crime that you want in the Business Intelligence panel, and you can customize what kind of information you want, or by region, clicking the map. So if you click on the map, so this data show to change to show only the data consent to that point that you click. For example, if I click in this region here, all this table change the data that you have here. This is dynamic. This is why it's dynamic panel. Also, you can use maps, specific kind of maps. For example, in a technological way, it's important to have different maps to give opportunities to decision makers, give the correct action, the correct operation in the daily work. So maps, for example, you have here another kind of innovation. You have here territorial maps. So this is an example of my state. Is divided in 25 areas, small areas, to give more concentration of incidents. So this area have similarities and features, so you can aggregate this area to give a more focused combat to crimes and to prevent violence. So each region with different color here, you have a specific kind of repression against crimes. So as I told you before, for example, here in my state, Ceará, Brazil, you have 25 integrated area of public security. This is an interesting map to analyze. Or you can, for example, prepare maps, thematic maps. For example, you have here a thematic map according to density, populational density. For example, you have more inhabitants here. You have more strong color, you have more inhabitants here. So in this map, the main area where you have more population, it's here. And you have white color because you don't have so much population compared with other areas where you have color in their limits. So this is a thematic map as a kind of technology that you can use to give, making and producing information in details to give more knowledge to operators of actions in public security. Another interesting thing I'd like to show you is another technology that we call here as alerts. Alerts means when, for example, you can create, using the data that you have, you can create alerts when the amount of crime goes more than, for example, 10%, 12%. So when you have, for this specific example here, when we have 10% increase of EVLC, intentional violent lethal crimes, using September 2022 as example, you can see that some regions have more crimes compared with the same period in the last year. That means I'm comparing the crimes in the period of 2022 compared with a period 2021. So you can see if in this comparison day by day you have some kind of increase. In this case, you can see here some cities here. Each line of this is a city, here is a territory, here is the macro region, that color region that I showed in the previous map. Here is the city, here is the year amount of crimes, in this case, for example, homicides, in the year 2021, and here in 2022. So you can see that you have some increase here, if you compare with this period. So it's an important thing to do. This alert is here for IVLC, but you can see alert for any kind of crime that you want. For example, another alert to show the operators in public security that you have some violent crime against property, or where you don't have death. If you don't have death, but have a crime against property, you can monitor and evaluate this crime. For example, here the same way you have the territory, here you have the integrated area of security here. Here you have the city. Here you have the amounts of this kind of crime, VCP, the year 2021, here in this column, in the year 2022. Here's the percentile. You have increase of the crime in this specific city here. Another kind of innovation that I'd like to show with you are the hotspot or criminal spot. For me, this is one of the main points to show you. For example, here you have the map of a city called Fortaleza. It is the capital of Ceará in Brazil. And you have red color, so you have more concentrated crimes here. This is the shape of the map, any kind of this color map. In yellow, you have amounts of crime. In this case, we are analyzing IVLC, intentional violent lethal crime. So you can see the point here in red, here in red, are points where you have some kinds of violent crimes, for example, as homicide. And you can expand this and show, for example, in a more appropriate way, show the hotspots, the heat map. So here you have a micro territory where there you have the IVLC crime, and here it is the hotspot. The hotspot is here. Some points here are crimes, and there is more concentrated in these streets, in this micro territory. Here you have the day of week where you have more of this kind, the day of week. Here, the time of week that you have more lethal crime here. So it's very important. Why? Because you have the hotspot, the heat map. You have the space, the place where the crime occurs more frequently, the day of week, and the time. So if I give to police operators this information, it's very important because they can make operation strategies in the field of public security. Here you have, if you have a lot of action in a micro territory in that hotspot, this hotspot can migrate from one point to another point. So here you have another technology that you can see the displacement of the hotspots. So according to the time, for example, year by year, 2012, 13, 14, 16, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. Então, you can see the hotspot displacement in a map that you can see here. For example, this is the same place, the same place. However, you can see that the hotspot, the heat map, for example, with red color more strong, we have more crime. That some crime are migrating from this point to this point. Some hotspots are decreasing. This is good, because if it's decreasing the hotspot, means that the police actions are effective. Continuing. For example, another crime fight technology. This is what can I do with the data. Now you can create automatized system, computer system, to produce a lot of information in technology. For example, you use artificial intelligence, business intelligence, big data, data science, spatial statistics, geoprocessing. All of this, I will show you some technology that we develop here. This technology was developed here in the Public Security Secretariat in Ceará, Brazil, and in the Superintendence of Strategy in Public Security. So I will show you now some of this technology. For example, this is the Intelligent Video Surveillance System. It's a system to identify motor vehicles that have been used in criminal practice or that have a connection with someone in conflict with the law, using interactive maps, images, icons, and various information available to user. Here you can see the screen, a big screen, and the operator can see here more than 4,000 cameras in all states of Ceará. You can see here, and the system can monitor these vehicles. Cerebro as a kind of big data is a platform with business intelligence that integrates several databases and knowledge base to support strategic decisions on public security. So, if you put a name of a person or some identification of a person, you can extract all information through, in this case, you have 18 bases. You can put the name, you can extract information about that person or individual offender, consulting 18 bases. This is the big data set. Another technology is the technological system for territorial monitoring security units, called Status. Status work on the prevention and repression of violence with focus on the space-time dimension. That means hotspot. This is the tools, automatized tools, that creates the hotspot that I showed you before. The hotspot directing actions to the micro-territories that vary according to the type of crime, day of the week, and time of the day. So, it's in my opinion, it's one of the best technology that you have here to show in public security. Developed in our research and strategic superintendence. Another technology, you have record of tactical operations and security actions, ROTAs. It's a technology using an automatized system that works on monitoring and controlling all public security vehicles. The system has several functionalities, such as the presentation of the tracked vehicles and real-time visualization of each occurrence on a map, electronic fencing, and dynamic and statistical reports. So this information is to monitor the police vehicles or public security vehicles. You can see in real time where these vehicles are in each moment. Another technology that I like to show you is the Advanced Command Portal. It's a multifunctional advanced command and control application for mobile device such as cell phone. So the police officer can have in his hand, in a mobile, you can search, for example, about offender. You say information about personal information, about the criminal information, about the vehicle. You have the police officer have in their hands all kind of information consulting our databases. You give mobility to police officers to work. Another technology that I like to show you is the operational due reference system, SIGO. SIGO is a system with the specialization of fire brigades units and fire hydrants, enabling the ideal routing for accidents and fire hydrants, including information on current traffic. This is a tool, this is a computer system developed to be used by fire brigades. So I'm almost finished my presentation. So thank you very much. You can see that you show how science and technology can be used in public security in an effective way. Thank you very much. These are my contacts. So till the next.